Hey, good morning. How y'all doing? It is Well Red Beard. It's a damn fine day. It's actually a shitty day outside, raining ugly, but it's a damn fine day to talk about a book. And we are here for a book review. And today we're going to talk about My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. Oh boy. I didn't like this book at all. I didn't like this book. And everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people like this book. I mean, actually, I guess there are mixed reviews on it. I'm not the only one that didn't like this book. A lot of people have messaged me saying that they DNF'd it, were unable to get through it, or they finished it and they didn't like it. I made it all the way through, and I listened to the audio, and I just didn't like it at all. Now, I'm on record saying that I'm not great at audio. You know, sometimes I miss some of the story in audio, but I've been doing just fine with my recent, like, Stephen King's and S.A. Cosby's. Been doing perfectly fine following the story there. This one just takes you to a boring, for me, annoying place and never lets you out. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. So, we open on a scene on a lake in an Idaho town, and two travelers to, I think they're Norwegian, something like that, Swedish, Norwegian, are killed by a mysterious presence. And that is legitimately the best part of the book for me. The best part of the book was the opening scene, the prologue, if you will, because then we inject ourselves into the mind of Jade. And she is a high school student, a slasher fan, and we spend the entire book in her head, having internal conversations about slasher films, about horror films. I mean, I am a horror fan. It is, I have often said that I am more of a horror book fan than I am a horror movie fan. I am not super steeped in the Friday the 13th or the Halloweens. I mean, I've seen some, but I just don't revere that stuff. Like, I don't revere Michael Myers like I revere Jack Torrance, to put it that way. That's kind of me personally. But I think even people that are huge fans of slashers, for example, John Lynch, I'm getting ready to read his book. He didn't love this one either, and he's got a big ass Michael Myers tattoo. So, so it's not just me not really being this, slasher encyclopedia, that sets me off here. It was annoying. I mean, and I don't often quote other reviews here, but Anne on Goodreads, check her out. She has 68,000 followers on Goodreads. She was the 1-star review that I read. She kind of says it perfectly. Says what I wanted to say, but a lot better than I could. And she talks about how it was like having she the entire book has Jade gushing and giggling and talking nonstop about slasher films, and it was like listening to an 8-year-old tell you about their favorite YouTuber. I mean, that's what it said, but and that's it. That's the entire book, really. So we're reliving these slasher moments through Jade. So it kind of got to the point where, like, it was hard to tell what was real and what wasn't. Like, when the killing actually started, it was hard for me to say, okay, this is actually happening, or this isn't happening, and yeah, I just didn't love it, and I wanted to love it. Like, this book, first of all, I really dig the cover. I love the simplicity of it. I love the title. I love My Heart is a Chainsaw. I love the slash down the front of it. I mean, I like it so much, or I thought I would like it so much that, went out and made sure I had a book plated copy here, a signature copy. I really liked The Only Good Indians. Really liked that book. And Stephen Graham Jones is one of those guys that I haven't read a ton of, but I always thought I would, because of the acclaim that he gets, because of the people that talk about him. I think the biggest thing for me with this book, A lot. First of all, a lot of people are 5 starring it. A lot of people are 5 starring it, and on a lot of books, I don't want to go too far into this. I'm not trying to start drama. A lot of books, I would say different strokes for different folks. So this one, I kind of feel like, uh, I mean, I'm not saying those people are wrong, but I kind of feel like some of those people are embellishing. This wasn't. I just don't see how this book can be viewed as great through anyone's eyes. But again, that's just me. And again, you see, I'm not having fun here. I wanted to really like this book, but I didn't. I won't read. I think it's going to be a 3-part series. I won't read book 2, book 3. I don't think not anytime in the near future. But yeah, so annoying. Struggle to get through. I listen to audiobooks on like 1.5 speed usually. And this one I had to tone it all the way back to 1 because just had trouble following it. Just couldn't I got lost in Jade's internal dialogue, her thoughts. And for me, like the ending, like I even had problems with the ending. Like when we finally got to the killing parts, and so Jade kind of, she's a slasher fan. She believes that the elements, the stars have aligned for this for a slasher to come to town. She lives in this little town of Proof Rock, and across the lake there's this new development, like this new rich people development, country club golf course type thing, called Terra Nova. And so there's these rich people coming in and whatnot, and she believes that the stars have aligned for a slasher scenario to play out here. And so much, she befriends the new rich girl across the lake and tries to prepare her and build her up to be the final girl. So, it's, again, like she's excited about this. She's excited about the bodies potentially piling up, which was weird. And so then at the end, like when Jade finds herself in dangerous situations, you're kind of, I don't know. It was just weird. But yeah, Anne on Goodreads, check out her review. She says, a lot of stuff that I want to say. Her review isn't non-spoiler though, but you can click and the spoilers are blurred, and you have to click on them to make them. So, this book takes a supernatural turn, which, I get it. There are supernatural slashers. I mean, Freddy wasn't, just a run of the mill, high school janitor. I mean, there was a supernatural element to it. But when you've spent 300 pages building me up in what I think is just a human slasher. And maybe I should have known better because there's a scene with some elk. So maybe I should have known better. But it takes a supernatural turn. And for me, that was just kind of like, I didn't like that either. Like for me, it broke the whole Scooby-Doo model, right? Like it has to be one of these people that we've spent 300 pages with. How far off screen they are. Like for me, that was kind of weird too. But I hate that. Like I hate when a book that I think is going to just be about murder or whatever, mass murder, whatever you want to call it. I hate it when it at the end it shifts to supernatural. I just didn't like it. It was for me. It was we spent too much time in Jade's head. We spent too much time on slasher references. And I get it. I think that even people that like that shit, though, like I really believe that even people that, love slashers and they appreciated this encyclopedic knowledge of them like early on, I feel that at some point it had to wear on them too. Like I just feel like there's no way that 400 pages of this you were like, yeah, Ready Player One, I'm drawing a blank on the author, but that book was widely criticized for just being a book of pop culture references. I actually kind of liked the story in that one. Granted, I read it 6, 7 years ago, however long it was, before I ever really was reading deeply like this. But that book was highly criticized for that, and this is basically next level that, but about slashers. So yeah, I just didn't love it. I mean, I can't say that I'm a huge Stephen Graham Jones fan. I mean, this is nothing against the author in any way, shape, or form. I liked The Only Good Indians. I think I 4-star really liked that one. I might have 5-star liked it. I can't remember, but and I think I've read a couple of his shorter books, back in the day, back before I was really doing this. But this one was a serious miss for me, and again, I thought multiple times about not finishing it. But for me, I do this because I enjoy reading. I also do it to create content. I've also, said multiple times I'm a firm believer in talking about the books you don't like. I think this will go on and win horror awards at the end of the year. And while I don't vote in those things, I mean I'm not a like member of that community or whatever. I just think that's without a better way of putting it, I think that's a shame. I think it's a shame that this is going to win awards over some of the other great books that I've read this year. I feel the same way about Stephen King. Like when Stephen King wins the Goodreads Horror Award every year, and the book that he put out that year wasn't really even horror. Like it'll probably happen this year. Like he'll probably win awards for Fairy Tale when that book was not horror at all. At all. So that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I just think, like it affected me that, or I liked it that little, and it affected me that much that I actually feel that way. Like when this wins awards, I'll be like, oh man, that kind of sucks. And this is, to be honest with you, this is probably one of my most critical reviews, like the most critical I've ever been about a book. Would I, if this was, an independent small press book, would I have found a couple of halfway nice things to say and spin it up to a 2-star review and get the F out of here? Yeah, probably. But this isn't. This isn't. This is on the horror shelf, and every big store you go in, and it's going to probably win awards, and for me that's just kind of I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I care deeply about books, so so that's why I think I care so much in this situation. Anyway, this is My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. I didn't really like it at all. It's Well Red Beard. This is my review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying all your books, all of them, as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.